So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show. We're going to wrap up the last segment here, and we're going to focus on some homeowners insurance questions with Richard Vazquez at Artisan Insurance. Richard, specifically, you brought up earlier in the show about how, a buyer making an offer contingent on, gathering homeowners insurance at a certain price or rate. And you run into situations where, agents have called you because they have an uninsurable house. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a pretty common occurrence in our office. We usually get calls from a very frazzled and upset realtor that...
Really? Realtors get frazzled and upset? I've never seen such a thing.
But, they call us and they say, I'm about to lose my real estate deal because I've got an uninsurable house and I was referred to you guys, can you help us? And we look at it and we go, it's not a big deal. First of all, let me say there's no such thing as an uninsurable house. Okay, houses with sinkholes, with aluminum wiring, with Zinsco, Sylvania, electric panels, those can all be insured. So there's no such thing as an uninsurable house. It may be uninsurable to an agent who doesn't represent a lot of companies or is required to sell through a particular company. Okay, that particular agent might not be able to insure a house. Because of one of those things that I mentioned. However, there's no such thing as an uninsurable house. And more often than not, when these agents call us and we say, look, send us what you got, do you have any information on the house, a 4-point inspection. We look at the 4-point inspection and it's one little tiny thing that
just needs to get fixed.
That needs to get fixed. And when we look at it and go, yeah, we can insure it, and here's your rate, let's get it done. And they act like we save.
But I think that's the difference between your company having access to all the different insurance providers and others that are limited in the carriers or focused like I'm not going to mention names, but your friendly neighborhood. I won't say it.
But, yeah,
I think I alluded to it right there. I think people probably get what I'm saying without saying it.
Yeah, there are agents that have to sell policies through a particular company, and if it doesn't fit within the guidelines of that particular company, they can't insure it, as opposed to other agents who can write through, 30, 40 different companies like we do, and, there's nothing that's not insurable. We can insure it. It may not be the cheapest thing to insure, if it had a sinkhole or something like that, and you really want that house, okay, we'll insure it. It might be more expensive, but it's insurable.
And I think, Mike had brought up something in the break about how, during the storm and in the aftermath of it, seeing a lot more citizens policies, and it sounds like there were some restrictions or some things going on with some of the carriers that has caused that.
Yeah, we were having to jump through a lot more hoops after the storm to get policies bound because they were putting in a lot more requirements. Basically, they wanted, a lot of the carriers wanted to make sure that they weren't insuring damaged houses, which is understandable. And a lot of carriers just, quite frankly, had cold feet and didn't want to insure houses for a little while.
So they wanted to stall a little bit.
Exactly.
And say, oh, we'll have you fill out this form, and we'll get it back to you in 7 days. Well, by then the storm's over.
Yeah, we had a carrier that was still under binding restrictions until the end of last week. Seems a little extreme to me to be under hurricane binding restrictions, a month after the storm, but, that's their prerogative. If they didn't feel comfortable insuring homes, they didn't insure homes.
And what have you seen in terms of, I imagine the number of people calling and getting flood insurance has had to have gone up dramatically, right?
Oh, absolutely. In the last month, we've sold as much as we normally sell in 6 months.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing for the customer because now, when the next storm comes through, they're not going to be frantically calling us as the storm is approaching and we have to tell them, well, you realize there's a waiting period and it's not going to be in place by the time the storm gets here.
Yeah.
So, good, safe way to go.
Robert, anything else you wanted to add? Anything you're seeing that's important for the listeners? Anything you can think of?
In regards to insurance, or
No,
in
just
regards
anything. Just anything.
No, nothing. Just
besides going out and room for the light.
No, I was going to say, just going back to what we said earlier. I mean, inventory is so down. It's gotten mostly back to normal with people calling, but still not back to where it was. I mean, again, we were just going upstairs.
There's some hangover of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Call and get your house on the market before it gets really busy.
And if you want to see some really funny photos, go to our social channels. Again, at the Duncan Duo Instagram. and Twitter, and then Facebook.com/The Duncan Duo Show. We have our photos will be up for our Halloween party, and I can assure you that there are some costumes. If you want to see a group of real estate agents that have a lot of fun, go check that out.
It's always interesting.
It's always a funny show. I already know some of the costumes, and so obviously go check those out if you want to see our costume contest at our office. We'll have some photos and information up on that as well. So have a great rest of your Sunday, Tampa Bay, and go Bolts.
Go Bolts.